Take us back to the beginning of CASL, Linda. How did you and Bernie first meet, and what really kept you side by side, essentially, with Bernie through the launch of CASL?
This mother and her little boy came to Chicago from China. And one day when she was working, she collapsed. And people at the place she worked called an emergency. She was rushed to the hospital. She didn't speak English. No one there spoke Chinese. And CASL was just in the beginning stages, so it wasn't well known. And it turned out this woman had terminal cancer, and she didn't have long. So her husband and daughter were still in China. And to Bernie, it was so important to get them here so they could see her before she died, and so that the little boy would have his family. Bernie, being Bernie, said, I need more. I think if there's some publicity about this, maybe that's going to cause some more pressure. That's Bernie thinking, okay? And she had seen me on television. So Bernie called, and I thought, yeah, I think there's something we can do about this. Bernie was somebody who just kept pushing, something that she felt like if this would be good for CASL, she would push and push until she could get it. I liked that because I was like that. But as time went on, I began to say to everybody, you can't say no to Bernie.
It must have not been easy trying to balance your very demanding career on television at ABC7, being a working mom, raising 2 kids at home. Why was it so important for you to then take on this additional responsibility to support organizations like CASL?
My first day in Chicago, I thought I did just fine. I came into the newsroom after the broadcast. All the phone lights were lit up. People were on the phone. Some of my new colleagues would look up and they looked really irritated at me. And finally, one of my new colleagues said to me, these phone calls are all about you. And I said, what did I do? And they said, they're all asking, what is she? And I said, what do you mean, what is she? I'm a reporter. I came from, California. I'm, what? And so somebody said finally, what are you? And I finally got it. And I said, I'm Chinese. And she turned around and shouted to everyone else and said, just tell them she's Chinese. I realized then how weird it was for everybody in this market because there had never been someone who looked like me. That was important to me, to be able to get the message out in some ways that I belonged on the air here. And because of that, other people who look like me could also come and be on the air here. Besides Bernie calling me, Korean organizations, Japanese organizations, Vietnamese organizations, Hmong organizations, everybody was calling and saying, can you come help us? And I thought, who else is there?
Now, outside of television news, what was the landscape like for Asian Americans at that time before you launched your career in television?
There were plenty of Asian Americans around, but like in separate communities. One of the things that I was very proud to do and think about was I joined with Ping Tom, and a lot of people who are watching this will remember what a wonderful man he was. He realized, as I did, that just separate organizations were never going to get the attention of the politicians, of businesses, of other communities. But we worked to get the organizations to say, yes, we will work together. All of us will do one dinner. And everybody was so amazed because local politicians came, business people came, state politicians came, and everybody got the message, yes, we need to work together. And that was the beginning of the coalition.
When you look back at your groundbreaking career that paved the road for so many of us, right? Some of us who got into the business because we watched you on television. What stands out the most to you about everything you have accomplished?
My brother, he worked in a bookstore, one of his jobs, and this was in Los Angeles. And one day he was checking out a customer, and she gave him her credit card, and her name was Linda Yu Wong or something. And he said, your name is Linda Yu? And she says, yes. And he said, my sister is Linda Yu. And she said, that's nice. My parents named me for a newscaster.
Really?
As the years went by, there were many young women who came up to me and said, in the home countries, journalism was not a career that was respected. You know, it was most often journalists were government controlled. And they would say, my parents are letting me go into journalism because of you. It's a wonderful thing to feel like you've made a difference. If we can just protect our people, if we can encourage our people, if we can find ways to stand up for our people, the day will come, I hope, I pray, the day will come when immigrants will still be seen as important to enrich this country and to make this country, make this city, make this area a better place.